So today's practice is pretty dynamic. It's yoga and Pilates, and it's pre and postnatal friendly. So if someone's expecting or just had a baby or you've got a 5-year-old, whatever, this is like an extremely accessible way to practice both yoga and Pilates, despite whatever's happening in your body. And that means we'll do some dynamic movement, but it's not going to be any movement that will actually put pressure on our tummies today. It's a pretty cool sequence, so I hope you enjoy. And we'll start with something called piston breathing. So piston breathing goes like this. When you inhale, and it feels counterintuitive, when you inhale, you're to relax your pelvic floor. And then when you exhale, engage your pelvic floor. So try that a few times on your own. When you inhale, relax your pelvic floor. And as you exhale, engage your pelvic floor. It's a bit counterintuitive, this form of breathing, but really good for pelvic health. So we'll try it for the next minute here, and I'll walk you through it. Sit up nice and tall. First, just take a normal breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Good, and then inhale to relax your pelvis. Exhale to lift your pelvis or engage your pelvis. Inhale to relax your pelvis. And exhale to lift your pelvis. Inhale, relax. Exhale, lift. Last time, inhale, relax. And exhale, lift. Good. Back to regular breath. Take your hands together at your heart. Just a normal deep breath in through your nose. And a big sigh comes out through your mouth. Today, can you set an intention of gratitude? So taking a moment to think of someone that you're grateful for, something that you're grateful for, and just extend or deliver your practice's intention and energy to that person or to that thing. Good. Take a deep breath in. And with the exhale, bring your hands down alongside your body. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, take your hands down to your heart. Good. Inhale, scoop both arms up. And exhale, hands come down to your heart. Do that 3 more times. So as you inhale, your arms lift up. The movement fuses with the breath. The exhale takes the palms down, and you keep going, adding a little bit of fusion between breath and movement right off the bat this morning, I guess this afternoon. Last time. Now as your hands come down this time, could you place them right onto your shoulders? So you have these little chicken wing arms, and make big circles, 3 circles in each direction with your bent elbows. Imagine you had a little blot of ink on either elbow and you were drawing a great big circle. Then release your hands down to beside your body, and roll your shoulders up and back. I have a really raspy voice this week. I started teaching classes again at a studio. Turn your shoulders in the other direction, and I forgot that teaching groups of 20 people back to back puts a lot of strain on the voice. So I woke up the next morning and had completely lost my voice. There you go. Relax the shoulders down and just wiggle it out. And now turn onto all fours. And turn onto all fours, and we'll do lots of work from our wrists. So if your wrists are tender at all, take a moment and just shake them around. But first, we'll try something that's called nerve flossing. It's a form of cat-cow and child's pose, bred together into this little shape. So from all fours, drop your belly down, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart and chest. Knees are nice and wide. And as you exhale, puff into between your shoulder blades, round your upper back, and push your hips down towards your heels. Your big toes don't have to touch, but your knees are wide here. And now bend your elbows, slither your weight forward, close to the earth. Start to dump your belly down, roll your shoulders back and look up. Go ahead and round into your upper back, tuck your chin into your chest, and sink your hips down to your heels. What a nice way to wake up our spine. Do that one more time. Inhale, come forward nice and low to the earth, shoulders looping back, gaze lifting. And exhale, puff between the shoulder blades, sink down into a child's pose, knees nice and wide so the belly rests between your legs. And could you stay active in this child pose with your arms? Arms are active here. Take a breath in. With an exhale, tiptoe your fingers over towards the right and really push the earth away with your hands, grounding through your left hip. Take one breath in there. Stay for the whole exhale. And now tiptoe your hands over to the left. You could go really far. You could go really close. Push your palms away. Big breath comes in. And that breath falls right out. Now inhale, come back through center. Walk your hands in towards your knees. Bring your knees, if they're on a blanket, under some nice support, and take your knees about hip distance apart. You can be on the top of your ankles, getting a nice deep ankle stretch here, or maybe you decide to stretch your feet instead and come on to the balls of your feet. Take your hands to your belly, take a breath in, use your quads and your glutes to lift up, push your pelvis forward and squeeze your glutes together so your bum cheeks are strong here. Go ahead and sit back down. Really simple action. Inhale, pull up, strong thighs and glutes, push your pubic bone forward. Exhale, sink back down. Try that a few more times. Maybe you change the arrangement of your feet, finding one that really feels good for your body. And then can you start to add the arms? So as you come up, arms reach up, and as you come down, they release beside you. Inhaling up, strong glutes, strong quads, arms extended. Exhale to release. That's it. One more like that. And release back down. Walk your hands down onto your mat. Tap the tops of your feet. So you'll just get rid of any tension that's there in the tops of your feet. And now stabilize through your left hand and your right knee. Take your left leg long, stretch your right arm out overhead. Option one is to stay here. And if there's a big dumping in your lower back, pull your belly in. Option two is a slow and steady bird dog pose or curl in, whatever you want to call it. We're just opening and closing these chains in our body. There's 5 in total. You could go as fast or as slow as you'd like. Beautiful. Last one. Pull open into extension and pause. Take your right arm towards the right, left leg towards the left before you bring it back through center. And do that a few more times, but with your belly pulling in. So there's some core stability here. Good. Let's go for 2 more, really pushing down through the knuckles of your left hand. Last one like that. Perfect. Drop your hands, drop your knees, and come to sit back on your heels. So the tops of your ankles are flat. I'll just scooch up so I don't get out of your line of vision. Walk your hands behind you. Plug your shoulder blades back, lift your heart and chest, take a breath in. Fingers are facing your body here, so there's a counter stretch in the fingers. Now you have the option of intensifying that ankle stretch by lifting up the knees and maybe even coming down onto your elbows. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Walk your hands back up and forward. Give them a little swirl on the way. And we'll find that same set on the opposite side. So now your right leg pushes into extension, left arm forward. Pull the belly button in so the spine is long. Point your back toes down and either stay still or get into this really juicy movement. And so this is Pilates, right? We're starting to think about a little more specifically core engagement and really targeting the rectus abdominis, so that more superficial layer of abs in your body. 2 more here. Notice how this is feeling in your core. Last 1, open wide. And then we have these 5 little pulsations in and out. So instead of going front to back, we're working along the horizontal plane, opening and closing from right to left. Take 1 more like that. Good. Hands come down to the floor. Flex your feet and sit back onto your heels. Take your hands together. Interlace your hands. And while you stretch the fascia of your feet, just begin to slow dance your hands and your wrists around, easing some tenderness that gets built up in the wrists, because we're going to come back down onto all fours and do a few more fun things from that place. Now take your palms, they're interlaced, and press them forward, round into your upper back, much like that cat-cow spine. Inhale, lift your arms up. Keep your hands glued together, but start to integrate a little action like you're trying to pull them apart. And then engage and pull your belly back, engage your core. Good. Lower your hands down to your heart. Perfect. Come back down onto all fours. So again, if your knees are tender, take a blanket underneath of them because we're here for a while. Firm down through your hands. You could use your elbows here too. That would be okay. You could absolutely come to your elbows. Lift up your left leg and keep the knee bent. And now draw your heel towards your bum and start to create circles with your left hip. Start to create 3 circles in one direction. Like you're painting, you have that ink blot on your kneecap now and you're painting little circles with your left knee. And notice how much the belly wants to dump. Can you engage through your core and pull the belly up and back? Good. Then just straighten that left leg out. So you've done 3 hip circles in each direction. Straighten your left leg out. Bend your left knee. Heel comes towards your bum. And extend. That's it. Pull your belly button in. Bend your left knee. Heel towards your bum. And extend. Do that 1 more time. Bend the left knee. And extend. So from here, could you bend the left knee? Hold here, pause here. Belly comes in, notice what's happening in that right hip. So maybe you lean your weight over towards the left. Lift your left heel a few inches, lower back down to hip height. Lift a few inches, lower down to hip height. There's lots of work in the lower back here, in the core, and in the outer glute. You'll feel that starting to fire up. We're here for 3, for 2, good, last 1, and release. Take the knees nice and wide, big toes touch, and go into a full child's pose. So arms are stretched overhead, the body is flat and soft. You're here for 5 deep breaths. Gently crawl back upright for that same set on the other side. So what we do on one side, we always do on the other. Stabilize through your hands. Maybe you're coming onto your elbows and lift up your right leg this time. The knee is bent. Heel tucks in towards the bum. Make sure you have enough room and start to create those big circles with your right knee. I cannot even tell you how good this little action is for hip mobility. So if you sit a lot and you feel a lot of strain in the hips when you come to stand up, something like this can help ease that strain. Turn it around the other direction. Really good. And then take that leg up. So the knee is tapped at hip height, the core is pulling in and strong. And simply extend your right leg and bend your knee. If you have your cameras on, you can look at your body and try to ensure that your hips are level here. You're not leaning over towards the left. So an adjustment from a teacher might be to come and stand beside that left hip, pushing you over to the right a bit. So you're forced to use the core and the glutes instead of your spine. Good. Extend that leg out one more time. Perfect. Bend your knee. And now can you just lift the heel a few inches and lower. That's the work. You're lifting and lowering. So the heel lifts, it pulls the knee up. You'll feel this maybe in the left side a lot. Maybe it's more on the right side. But you know what you could try? You could try to turn the angle of your knee, that right knee, and see if it moves where the sensation is. Good. Last one. Nice job. And let's come all the way up into a big downward dog stretch from there. Pushing the earth away with your hands. Your feet and your knees finally get a little break here. So that's a lot of pressure on those joints. But we don't want to take too much of a break because we've built up all this core strength. So let's flow forward, come down onto our elbows and explore how long we can stay in a low plank. The core is strong. You're puffing up between your shoulder blades. Breathing here for 10, 9, 8. You can absolutely drop your knees. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Listen carefully. We're coming up into downward dog on 1. So plant your palms. That might be the hardest part. And lift your bum back up high. Full body stretch. Inhale. And a big sigh as you let go. Take your gaze forward. Walk forward like a bear. And when I say like a bear, I mean take these big, silly steps. Maybe the way your kids might walk if they were to impersonate a bear. Yeah, it's a bit silly. And when you get to the top, can you drop your bum down? Toes are facing out in opposite directions and find Malasana. Malasana is a squat pose. So some bodies might need to tuck a block underneath your hips. I had a student yesterday, that was his Malasana. So he was up about 2 feet from the floor, and that's just the way his bones and joints were working. That's okay. Just be in your squat, whatever it looks like, and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your hands to the floor and start to lift your bum. Walk your hands up your thighs and come up to stand. So it's not graceful, it's not fluid, but it gets you up to standing, and when you get there, just roll your hips around. Pilates is a lot less fluid than our yoga practice, right? So the body can feel really tight and compacted after these little sets. Now we'll move into more yogic positions, and we'll do a version of sun salutations that integrates cat-cow, so we're not coming onto the belly at all today. Take your feet hip distance towards the top of your yoga mat. Inhale, reach both arms up and look to your thumbs. With an exhale, fold down to the floor. Tickle the floor with your fingers. Inhale, lift your heart and chest up, just halfway. Good. Exhale, plant your palms. Listen here, step back to a plank pose. Step back to a plank pose. Drop your knees, drop the tops of your feet. Drop your belly and roll your shoulders back. This is your cow pose. And now round into your upper back for cat pose. Flex your feet, listen carefully again. Lift your knees to a hover. Your spine might straighten a little bit here, but we're holding for 5, 4, strong through your core, 3,
2. On 1, push the floor away, lift your hips high. Downward facing dog, bend into your right knee. Push down through your left heel. Bend into the opposite knee, your left knee, as you push through the right heel. And now go ahead and bend into both knees. Let the knees come right to a hover. And before you straighten out your legs, look forward. Think about that big old grizzly bear. Walk up. Maybe your steps are a bit bigger. Don't worry about how you look. Nobody can see you. There you go. You get to the top. Feet are nice and wide. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Good. Take your feet hip distance, mat distance apart, toes point out, fall down into your squat pose. Same as before. Hands come to your heart. Inhale here. And exhale. Let's add a little twist. Sink down through your right arm. Take your right hand to the outside of your yoga mat and send your left arm skyward. Now turn your left palm to face behind you. Reach it back behind you. And maybe you can maneuver that right arm into a bend so that the palms can connect. If they can't, that's okay. You just reach towards one another. But wherever you are, try to open through that left side. Breathe in. Good. Breathe out. Unravel. Same on the other side. Stretch your left hand on the inside of your left leg. Reach your right arm to the sky. Bend at your right elbow. It's this full rotation of the arm bone. Bend at the left elbow. See if the fingers can touch. If they can't, no big deal. Roll your right ribs out. Look up. Breathe in. And breathe out. Hands come to the floor. Start to lift your bum up. Walk your hands onto your thighs. Pull yourself all the way to standing. Catch your belly. Take a big breath in. And exhale. Magnificent. Step towards the top of your mat. A variation of sun salutation B now. Feet are hip distance, maybe even a little wider. And as you inhale, come down into a chair pose with your hands at your heart. The exhale brings you right back up. Push your pelvis forward when you get here. Try that again. Inhale, sink your hips low, hands to your heart. Exhale, arms alongside body, pubic bone pushes forward, glutes pull in. That's the movement. So you're coming up and down with breath, in and out of your squat. We'll do 10 repetitions here. And you can make this easier or more accessible for your body, of course, if you just take less depth in your squat. Maybe you just go up and down. Or you can make it more challenging if you take more depth, and you'll feel that working your legs right away. The next time you come down into your chair pose, no matter how big or how little, pause there, take a breath in. And start to pulse your hips up and down for 10, 9, 8. The pulse is small. I'm talking inches. 6, 5, 4. Breathing. 3, 2, and 1. Fold forward. A big exhale comes here. Inhale, lift up halfway. And we'll do that funky sun salute again. So step your right foot and then your left foot back. Drop both knees onto the floor. Drop your belly. Loop your shoulders back and look up. Puff between your shoulder blades. Round into your upper back. Feet are flexed here. Lift your knees away from the floor and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, push up, downward facing dog. Take a huge breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Could you step your right foot between your hands? Feet are about hip distance apart still. Both toes face forward. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Good, and take your hands behind your head. Interlace your hands behind your head. Let your head hang back into your hands a bit. Bend into that front knee. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sink deeper into your front knee. Beautiful, inhale again. And now on the exhale, turn your left toes to face the left long edge of your mat. For warrior 2, bend into your front knee and open your arms wide. There. Maybe your hand can hold your belly or your hip if having them in full extension doesn't feel Really nice for your shoulder joints. Now push into your feet. Inhale, straighten your arms and your legs. Look to your fingers. Exhale, sink back down. Inhale, a little flow here as you lift up. Exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale, pull up. Exhale, lower down. Good, go ahead and straighten that front leg. Take your left hand to your belly. Take your right hand to your shin. And instead of hanging down, can you pull up? So grab your shin and imagine you were trying to pull the skin up. At the same time, you're tacking that left hip back, engaging your left thigh and pushing through the left sit bone. You could look up. You could look down. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Now bend into your front knee. Take your right hand to the outside of your front foot. Take your left hand to the other side and turn onto the ball of your left foot. If you're way far forward on your mat, you're going to crash into some plants like I am. Pull back as you start to lift your left leg up. Now it might stay there, or you've done a whopping amount of glute work and core work, so could you, in fact, pull your hands up and work towards warrior 3. Continually lifting that back leg. Hands can stay at your heart. Maybe they reach alongside your body. Hey, maybe they even reach forward. Now slowly come to stand, but don't plant that left foot. Put it right into tree pose. Right into tree pose. Palms connect at your heart. Good. Maybe your arms reach up overhead. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, you've got this, 2, and 1. Drop that foot down. Take your hands to your hips and wiggle them out a little bit. I think we can remember that whole sequence for the other side. Let's see. Once I had a teacher teach us through an entire right side and then tell us to just do the left side to test and see if we could remember it. I don't think many of us could. Go ahead, bend into your knees. Inhale, lift your arms up this time. Exhale, bring them back. We're doing our squats. Pubic bone forward, glutes nice and low. Inhale as you come up. Exhale, maybe exhale through the mouth as you come back. You have 8 more here. Really pushing through, knowing that there's only 15 more minutes left in this practice, and you can probably press and push a little bit harder for just 15 minutes today. 3 more. Good, 2 more. You've got it, last one. This time let's come down, hold at the bottom, arms are lifted, pulses for 10, 9, 8, maybe hands on your belly, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fold forward. Lengthen your heart halfway. Plant your palms. Step back to plank pose. Step back to plank pose. You can hold plank the whole time. That's one option. Otherwise, drop your knees. Drop your belly. Loop your shoulders back. Lift your gaze up. Round into your upper back. Flex your feet. Hover your knees above the floor for 5. Strong in your core. 4, 3, 2. On 1, push the earth away. Lift your heart and your hips back, downward dog. Inhale here. Exhale. Step your left foot between your hands. Lock your eyes on something still. Think about drawing your inner thighs together. Reach your arms all the way up. Interlace your hands behind your head. Let your head fall back into your hands as you sink deeper into that front knee, really extending or opening through your right hip flexor. What does it feel like if you draw your tailbone down and pull your pubic bone up? Inhale again. And as you exhale, open towards the right. So warrior 2, right foot is facing the right long edge of your mat. Stretch your arms nice and wide. Stabilize. And then add the flow. Inhale to rise up with straight arms and straight legs. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, pull it up. Exhale to release. A few more of these. Match the breath with the movement. Let this feel really good. Beautiful. The next time you come up, pause here. Take your right hand on your belly, right on the lower belly. Take your left hand down to that left leg. Think about pulling the skin of the leg up as you roll your right ribs, your right hip up, and start to tack that left hip under. Draw your right shoulder down, look forward, maybe up, maybe down. Breathing here. Catching a big side body stretch. Before you bend into the front knee, lift up, turn your gaze down, and plant your palms to frame that left foot. Come onto the ball of your right foot and lift up, up, up. Can we find warrior three on the other side? Hands to your heart, maybe alongside your body. That back leg is lifting. Lift your heart even. Reach the crown of your head forward. Maybe your arms stretch overhead for 3, 2. Find the strength to come forward directly into your tree pose, pulling that right foot right into your inner left leg. Your hands can stay at your heart. They might stretch up overhead. And there's just 5 breaths here. Perfection. Drop your feet down and come all the way down onto your side. So I'll lie my left hip, I have bony hips here, onto my blanket. Lie right down onto your side, bend into both knees, just prop your head with your left hand. Coming right into clamshells. Take your right knee, lift your right knee open, lower it back down. And try that 10 times in total. We'll go together. Here's 8, 7, 6. You can exhale through your mouth here. 5. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take that top leg, extend your top leg long, tap the right toes down onto the floor, and now lift them up and overhead by any amount, and lower back down. This is a ballet move, and we're doing this again to work the glutes, so the back line of your buttocks. Try this. The next time you go down, tap your toe somewhere different. So maybe it's tapping further back or a little bit further forward, and just see how that changes the sensation in the back of your leg. Good. The next time that leg lifts all the way up, travel it forward so it's aligned, it's parallel with the bottom knee. And now just tap the right toe and lift back up to hip height. Tap the right toe, back up to hip height. So it's a pretty small movement, right? For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend into that right knee. Massage out your right hip. If it's okay to come onto your back, a nice transition here is on the back. Take the right ankle across your left thigh. Interlace your hands in front of or behind that left shin and just rock from side to side. Plant your feet down onto the ground. Before we move to the other side, plant your feet down onto the ground, take a breath in, and with your exhale, lift your pelvis up. Inhale, lower it back down. Exhale, lift your pelvis up. This time, just come halfway. Lifting up, lowering halfway. Pull it up, glutes squeeze in, lower halfway. 2 more, you're lifting up. Halfway release, last one, lift up, lower all the way down. Squeeze your knees into your armpits, just rock from side to side, and then roll right over onto your right side. And I'll flip all the way around so I'm not facing you with my bum. And take your hands, your right hand under your head, left hand is on the mat, stack the knees. Here we go, clamshells. There's 9, 8, Good. 7, get light on the side of your body, right here under your right ribs that are sticking onto your mat. Get really light so it feels like you could tuck a little pen or a feather underneath. For 2 and 1. Amazing. Extend your left leg long. Toes can be pointed or flexed. Pull the leg up by any amount. My left side can't go nearly as high as my right side. You might notice that in your own body. That's okay, that's normal. Good. You're just lifting and releasing, noticing how things might change if you drop your big toe a little further forward or a little further back. Amazing. And then lift that leg up, align it with your bottom knee and tap the toes down. Lift back up to hip height. Just 5 pulsations here. Really, really deep, good glute work for 2 and 1. Incredible. Bend into the knee. Squish around your left hip with your hand before you roll onto your back and take your left ankle across your right thigh. Thread the needle pose. 5 breaths here. Unwrap your legs in lieu of a forward fold. Hug your knees wide, pull your chin up. Curl your body into a little tiny ball. Take a big breath in and exhale. Good. Lower your head down, plant your feet onto the floor, and simply wash your knees from side to side. So really wide-legged shape here. You're twisting from left to right. You could open your arms wide. Let your knees just pause over to the right for a few cycles of breath. Bring them over to the left. Allow your knees to simply pause and settle there. Finally, your knees come back through center. Take any final movements or adjustments, and then find Shavasana, either flat on your back or lying on your left side today. Arms are relaxed, your gaze is relaxed. And as you begin to turn off all of the working, all of the moving and doing, can you come back into intention? So thinking of someone or something that you are so grateful for. And if it's a person, you might even visualize yourself finding that person, giving them a great big hug, telling them thank you. And for one more minute, resting deeply in how good it feels to give thanks. slowly start to move your fingers and your toes. And just rock your head from side to side. Inhale to stretch both arms up overhead, reaching through your fingers and your toes. Exhale, let it all go. If you're not already on your side, bend your knees, roll over onto either side, and carefully pick yourself up to a seat. Connect your hands at your heart center. One final person to thank. Bow your head into your hands and thank yourself for carving out time and space to practice. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Namaste.